Eat that frog summary. Your frog is your biggest, most important task, the bone you're most likely to procrastinate on if you don't do commodity about it. The first rule of frog eating is this: if you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the unpretty bone first. Continually remind yourself that one of the most important opinions you make each day is what you'll do incontinently and what you'll do laterally if you do it at all. The alternate rule of frog eating is this: if you have to eat a live frog at each, it doesn't pay to sit and look at it for veritably long. The crucial to reaching high situations of performance and productivity is to develop the lifelong habit of diving your major task first thing each morning. 1. Set the table. Suppose on paper. One of the veritably worst uses of time is to do commodity veritably well that need not be done at all. Suppose about your pretensions and review them daily. Every morning when you begin, take action on the most important task you can negotiate to achieve your most important thing at the moment. 2. Plan every day in advance. Always work from a list. Make your list the night ahead for the workday ahead. You need different lists for different purposes. First, you should produce a master list on which you write down everything you can suppose of that you want to do eventually in the future. Second, you should have a yearly list that you make at the end of the month for the month ahead. Third, you should have a daily list where you plan your entire week in advance. Eventually, you should transfer particulars from your yearly and daily lists onto your diurnal list. 3. Apply the 80-20ths rule to everything. Before you begin work, always ask yourself, is this task in the top 20% of my conditioning or in the bottom 80%? Repel the temptation to clear up small effects first. Your capability to choose between the important and the insignificant is the crucial determinant of your success in life and work. 4. Consider the consequences. Long-term thinking improves short-term decision timber. In your work, having a clear idea of what's really important to you in the long term makes it much easier for you to make better opinions about your proceedances in the short term. Before starting on anything, you should always ask yourself, what are the implicit consequences of doing or not doing this task? Unborn intent influences and frequently determines present conduct. Successful people are those who are willing to delay delectation and make offerings in the short term so that they can enjoy far lesser prices in the long term. Provocation requires motive. Allowing continually about the implicit consequences of your choices, opinions, and actions is one of the veritably stylish ways to determine your true proceedances in your work and particular life. The law of forced effectiveness: there's no way enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important thing. There will no way be enough time to do everything you have to do. Ask yourself, what are my loftiest value conditioning? What can I and only I do that, if done well, will make a real difference? What's the most precious use of my time right now? What's my biggest frog of all at this moment? Do first effects first and alternate effects not at all. 5. Exercise creative procrastination. The difference between high players and low players is largely determined by what they choose to procrastinate on. To set proper precedences, you must set posteriorities as well. A precedence is commodity that you do further of and sooner, while a posteriority is commodity that you do lower of and laterally, if at all. You can get your time and your life under control only to the degree to which you discontinue lower value conditioning. Say no to anything that isn't a high value use of your time and your life. Sam, this is analogous to Derek Sivers's "if it's not a hell yes, it's a no" rule from Anything You Want and Greg McKeown's Gospel in Essentialism. Your job is to designedly procrastinate on tasks that are of low value so that you have further time for tasks that can make a big difference in your life and work. Continually review your life and work to find time-consuming tasks and conditioning that you can abandon. Cut down on TV watching and rather spend the time with your family, read, exercise, or do commodity differently that enhances the quality of your life. Look at your work conditioning and identify the tasks that you could delegate or exclude to free up further time for the work that really counts. Ask yourself continually, if I weren't doing this formerly, knowing what I now know, would I start doing it again? Use the ABCDE method continually. You start with a list of everything you have to do for the coming day. Suppose on paper. You also place an A, B, C, D, or E coming to each item on your list before you begin the first task. An item is defined as commodity that's veritably important, commodity that you must do. This is a task that will have serious positive or negative consequences if you do it or fail to do it, like visiting a crucial client or finishing a report that your master needs for a forthcoming board meeting. A B item is defined as a task that you should do. The rule is that you should no way do a B task when an A task is left undone. A C task is defined as commodity that would be nice to do but for which there are no consequences at each, whether you do it or not. A D task is defined as commodity you can delegate to someone differently. An E task is defined as commodity that you can exclude altogether, and it won't make any real difference. 7. Focus on crucial result areas. Your weakest crucial result area sets the height at which you can use all your other chops and capacities. One of the topmost questions you'll ever ask yourself: what one skill, if I developed and did it in an excellent fashion, would have the topmost positive impact on my career? Apply the law of 3. It's the quality of time at work that counts and the volume of time at home that matters. 9. Prepare completely before you begin. Get everything you need at hand before you begin. Brian's particular rule is get it 80% right and also correct it laterally. 10. Take it one oil painting barrel at a time. Get your mind off the huge task in front of you and concentrate on a single action that you can take. 11. Upgrade your crucial chops. Non-stop literacy is the minimal demand for success in any field. 12. Influence your special bents. Continually ask yourself these crucial questions. What am I really good at? What do I enjoy the most about my work? What has been most responsible for my success in the history? Still, what job would it be? If I could do any job at all. 13. Identify your crucial constraints. Successful people always begin the analysis of constraints by asking the question, what's it in me that's holding me back? Keep asking, what sets the speed at which I get the results I want? Put the pressure on yourself. To reach your full eventuality, you must form the habit of putting the pressure on yourself and not staying for someone differently to come on and do it for you. Work as though you have only one day to get your most important jobs done. 15. Maximize your personal powers. Whenever you feel overtired and overwhelmed with too important to do in too little time, stop yourself and just say, all I can do is all I can do. Take one full day off every week. During this day, either Saturday or Sunday, absolutely refuse to read, clear correspondence, catch up on effects from the office, or do anything additional that taxes your brain. Resolve moment to ameliorate your situations of health and energy by asking the following questions. What am I doing physically that I should do further of? What am I doing that I should do lower of? What am I not doing that I should start doing if I want to perform at my stylish? What am I doing moment that affects my health that I should stop doing altogether? 16. Motivate yourself into action. Sanguinity is the most important quality you can develop for particular and professional success and happiness. Optimists have 4 special actions, all learned through practice and reiteration. They look for the good in every situation. They always seek the precious assignment in every reversal or difficulty. They always look for the result to every problem. They suppose and talk continually about their pretensions. 17. Get out of the technological time sinks. For you to stay calm, clear-headed, and able of performing at your stylish, you need to detach on a regular basis from the technology and communication bias that can overwhelm you if you aren't careful. For you to be suitable to concentrate on those many effects that make the most difference in your business or particular life, you must punish yourself to treat technology as a menial, not as a master. Repel the appetite to start turning on communication bias as soon as you wake up in the morning. Keep asking yourself, what's important then? What's important for me to negotiate at work? What's important in my particular life? Still, which bones would they be? If I could only do one or two of the conditioning. Veritably many effects are so important that they cannot stay. 18. Slice and hash the task. Cut a big task down to size using the salami slice system of getting work done. With the salami slice system, you lay out the task in detail and also resolve to do just one slice of the job for the time being, like eating a roll of salami one slice at a time or like eating in giant one bite at a time. Another fashion you can use to get yourself going is called the Swiss rubbish system of working. You use the Swiss rubbish fashion to get yourself into gear by resolving to punch a hole in the task, like a hole in a block of Swiss rubbish. You Swiss rubbish a task when you resolve to work for a specific time period on it. This may be as little as 5 or 10 twinkles, after which you'll stop and do commodity differently. 19. Produce large gobbets of time. Your capability to sculpt out and use these blocks of high value, largely productive time is central to your capability to make a significant donation to your work and to your life. Make work movables with yourself and also punish yourself to keep them. Set away 30, 60 and 90 nanosecond time parts that you use to work on and complete important tasks. 20. Develop a sense of urgency. Largely effective people launch snappily and explosively toward their pretensions and objects. When you work on your most important tasks at a high and non-stop position of exertion, you can actually enter into an amazing internal state called inflow. One of the ways you can spark this state of inflow is by developing a sense of urgency. With this hardwired sense of urgency, you develop a bias for action. When you regularly take non-stop action toward your most important pretensions, you spark the momentum principle of success. This principle says that although it may take tremendous quantities of energy to overcome indolence and get started originally, it also takes far lower energy to keep going. One of the simplest and yet most important ways to get yourself started is to repeat the words "do it now." Do it now. Do it now, over and over to yourself. 21. Single-handle every task. Every great achievement of humankind has been anteceded by a long period of hard, concentrated work until the job was done. Your capability to elect your most important task, to begin it, and also to concentrate on it single-mindedly until it's complete is the key to high situations of performance and particular productivity. Single running requires that once you begin, you keep working at the task without diversion or distraction until the job is 100% complete. You keep prompting yourself onward by repeating the words "back to work" over and over whenever you're tempted to stop or do commodity differently.